Hello, this is part 2 to fixing the boss battles in main series Pokemon games. I'll be covering Gens 6 through 9. I made several mistakes in my previous video. Not only did I forget to give Mallory a Mega Mawile, but I now want Seabolt to have a Dragalge. Enough people use Starmie and I like the idea of a chef using a poison type. The Alola region. I won't use Megas as no new ones were introduced. Alola is in a weird position due to not needing to fight every trial captain, and the sequel's changing the Elite Four. So to make this easier, I'm only going to show the full team of 6 for almost everyone. Lima has 5 new normal types, and Eevee as he uses one in the anime. I feel like the only reason they gave him a Smeargle was because of its coverage. Hala would use these Alolan fighters with Hariyama and Pangoro. I chose them not only because of their size, but also their typing and abilities. Lana sticking with not only water types, but Palisand. It lives near water and its typing deals with rock and electric, while the rest cover its ice weakness. For Kiawe's team, I added Magcargo and Heatmore. These two had boosted stats and new moves added this generation, also because the trial is near a volcano. Mallow's team sprouts the return of Bellossom. Okay, so for Olivia, I put a lot more thought into it. Lycanroc and Meteor are the new rock types. Lunatone represents how Lycanroc evolves. Probopass design is based on Easter Island heads, which were built on another island in the Pacific Ocean. For her remaining Pokemon, they all have some connection to Jules as she runs a jewelry shop. I'm surprised Sophocles doesn't use more of Alola's electric types. I feel too many people use Magnezone. Acerola uses a shiny Mimikyu in the anime, and I gave her an Aegislash due to her royal ancestry. I gave Nanu Hunchcrow due to him knowing Giovanni, and Arcanine due to all police officers using them. Paragali was added because Nanu strikes me as more of a cat person. I didn't know this, but Mina's Gramble is why she wanted to improve as an artist. She's someone who should use a Smeargle. I gave Hapu 2 new ground types, a new Rototeller, Golurk because it can help with the farm and farm animals. Grumpig is an underrated choice and its thick fat ability is useful on this team. Molayne. Despite the new steel types and Metagross, I added Electrode because that's what Sophocles has as a keychain. Porygon 2 is designed for space travel without being corrupted, relating to the observatory, and Vigavolt because I wanted a Mon with a ground immunity. This would be Kahili's team. I gave her a Gliscor due to Golf having what's called a ground score invented by Ruth Hotherham. Rematch adds Braviary because of the sport uses the term eagle, and Toucannon because of her golf club. Against Professor Kuki, this is what I chose. I gave him wrestling Pokemon with Halucha being shiny because one appears in the anime. I also gave him Dusk Form Lycanroc as that's its strongest form. This is Guzma's team. Harriados and Masquerain got boosts this generation and Sharpedo seems fitting for him. The Galar region. I'm going to work within the limits of this region's Pokedex. It shouldn't affect their teams too much. Using only the Eldegoss line is boring, so I replaced its pre-evolution with Applin. For his rematch, I gave him Ninetales. I like the idea of a grass specialist using a Mon that has drought. Bolton is here because he uses a Yamper. I actually like Nessa's team. It's nice to see Goldeen once in a while. Nessa's rematch includes Ludicolo to show her connection with Milo. Here's Kabu. I gave him a Carkol to better deal with flying types, one of Centiskorch's weaknesses. I included a Galarian Zenmo Darmanitan in the rematch team. It's a nice difference. Bee's team will feature only the new fighting types. I added a shiny Slurmpuff because she likes chocolate. Alistair's team is perfect, wouldn't change a thing. I added a Trevenant onto his team. They have similar poses, they're both misunderstood, and a Trevenant appears with Alistair in a Twilight Wings episode. I replaced Mawile with Shiinotic to reflect Glimwood Tangle. I gave her a shiny Aromatisse because its fur matches hers. As for the Xatu, Opal has been rumored to look into the future. That and a past friend of mine around her age told me to visit South America someday. I think it fits. For Gordy, I switched Barbaracle with Omastar. He's a celebrity, so I thought of giving him a Mon with star in its name. Keep with the star motif, I added a Meteor. For his mother, I replaced Darmanitan with Arctovich. It's weaker, but it's the last fossil Pokemon I haven't used yet. For the rematch, I added the better of the ice fossils and an Aurorus. Its secondary rock typing shows the love she has for her son. A weird choice, but I gave Pierce a Lumineon. It's the Neon Pokemon in a Neon town, and its typing works against Cinderace. For the rematch, Absol because of the Calamity and him finally getting a Gigantamax Pokemon. Raihan's team is perfect, wouldn't change a thing. For the rematch, I added Pokemon that work better in the sand, Excadrill and Dracavolt. For Leon, I didn't have much to say. Seward and Shelbert, on the other hand, had a team that I completely overhauled. I don't want them using Aegislash as it shouldn't detect leadership from them. Every other Pokemon I chose I think fits. Corviknight and Sirfetch'd reflect the black and white knight. Galarian Slowking shows a corrupt Merlin. Bisharp and Tyrantrum show leadership in a darker context. And finally, Kingler. It has King in the name and it gets a new Gigantamax form. Overall, this is better. Finally, the Paldea region. I know this goes against this region's decks, but I will be including Hisuian Pokemon. A game with Pokemon spawning from the future and past should have them. You really can't make the argument that they went extinct, since Hisuian Zoroark will be available in the DLC. I think Caddy should use a Combee since she bakes with honey. For the rematch, I added Heracross because it loves honey, and Lurantis since it pretends to be a bug Pokemon. I would have preferred Ribombee, but you know, c'est la vie. I gave Brassius a Sunflora as that's the mon he paints. That, and I thought it would make the gym harder. Despite a lack of thorny Pokemon, I think this works. It's great to see Sudowoodo again. Iona's team is perfect, wouldn't change a thing. I feel like Iona would be the type to use a Pikachu clone, they're always cute. Wugtrio's easy, but I still wouldn't change it. I added Overquill because pufferfish is very difficult to cook for chefs. Here we have a tandem mouse for the MVP, Larry. For his rematch, only the best new Pokemon for this man. I changed Rhyme's team up a bit. Enough Ghost Trainers use Mimikyu and I thought Gimmighoul was more fitting. Here we go, I think Goldengo makes this fight more riveting. For Tulip, I replaced Gardevoir with Gallade. It's a fighting type that connects her to Dendra, and it makes her team different from Diantha's. Here's Tulip's rematch team. For Grusha, I just added Obama Snow. It helps with the Slush Rush ability. I added Slowking in the rematch for its typing and because it gets the new move Chilly Reception. Giacomo, I gave him not only Dark-type mons with leadership roles, but musical Pokemon that know Boom Burst. I gave Mela Pokemon that were either fast or had abilities related to speeding up. For Atticus, I gave him variants of classic Pokemon since he likes older stuff, and Swalot since he speaks with a regal voice. Ortiga has Reveroom because he's an engineer, and for his final Pokemon, I decided on Kricketune. It has a ground resistance, Ortiga had a piano teacher, and his suit matches the pattern on Kricketune's chest. I do like it that each member has a dark-type par for Airy. Speaking of Airy, I gave her Blissey and Indeedee. She holds her Pokemon in heal balls and is seen as a mother figure in the team. On to the Elite Four. For Rika or Rika, I think her team is fine. New ground types with mons I haven't seen too often. I included a Hippowdon as that's another underused ground type. Here's Poppy's team. Orthworm's ground immunity is a welcome addition. For the rematch, Hisuian Goodra was added. Here we have Larry with a whole new team type. Drifblim is there to match the cloud on his tie. Classic Larry W. You know what? Larry is so goated, this man deserves 2 starter Pokemon. Okay, so for Hassel, with the shortage of new dragons, I took a look at Dragon-like. Appletun is there as the better of the 2 dragon grass types to show his connection to Brassius, and I chose the Sushimon because it looks like his hair. Round 2 has Dragalge, a Pokemon that contrasts beautifully with his green and yellow color scheme. Finally, we reached Geeta's infamous team. Glamora and Kingambit are perfect. Glamora promotes the Terra Jewels, and Kingambit shows her more divisive personality. He's why I don't want her using Palafin's hero form, despite what many have said. For Serena, Larry has called her La Primera. One of his translations can mean the first lady of a country. And Hisuian Avalog is there because I like Avalog, and that's its newest form. I chose Corviknight and Ceruledge because they match her colors. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.